Greetings. In this video, I'm going to discuss the idea of having tools in your toolbox. So here's what I mean by that. When you play an instrument, there are a variety of techniques or approaches to different issues that are going to come up as you're trying to play music. I remember having a discussion with a classmate in music school, and he was talking to me about how when he would play piano, he would have this problem where he could play very loud and boldly and have these really broad movements in his arms and his wrist and his hand where he kind of sweeps through and he gets a lot of power. And on the flip side, he'd also have these situations where he would rest his fingers on the keys and then individually kind of finesse them and press into them with kind of this heavy movement. And it was a totally different technique. And he was wrestling with, what's the right technique? How should I play? You know, he's trying to find like this one grand unified theory of how to play piano. And so he's stuck because this works really well for one situation, and this finesse thing works really well for these other situations. And we gave it some thought, and we came to realize that it wasn't that there was one right approach for every situation, as much as it is different tools in your toolbox. So certain types of techniques are going to be really useful for staying in control or getting the right sound out of your instrument in one context. But a different set of rules is going to work really well for a different context. So having your hand maybe at this angle is going to work for this type of fingering, and this angle is going to work better for this type of fingering, or really gripping the strings and feeling like your finger is kind of glued to them and snapping down constantly is going to work really well for one situation, while kind of rolling your hand and getting these flowing arpeggios was going to work for another situation. It's a different mentality. You know, we want one easy answer for what's the right thing to do in every situation. But the fact is, we need to just learn different techniques and master all of them. You know, get really good at your free strokes, get really, really good at your rest strokes, your AMI picking, your PAMI, your IM, your AM, all sorts of things. If you just, or even, you know, do I drag my wrist when I sweep through the strings? Let me give you an example. Am I going to put my arm into it and let my whole wrist feel like it's pulling through? Or am I going to, you know, do my thumb one string at a time? Or am I going to run my fingers through that way where I do thumb, 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 I, M, A? There's a zillion options to how we're going to sweep through this chord, but what's going to work well consistently? You know, sometimes you need to go to another pick right away, and in which case you want that stability of just running your fingers through. But if it's the end of a song, I might, you know, roll my whole arm through it. And different things just work for different situations. If I try to always do the arm roll, but I have to keep picking really fast, I'm going to miss when I come back sometimes. But if I just sweep through with the fingers and then keep my fingers there, I won't lose that accuracy. So different tools work for different situations. And there's many, many examples, but it's just kind of a simple concept. If there's no one easy answer to technique, unfortunately, you got to figure out what works best for this song in this situation. If you have that mentality, you're going to keep learning and applying new things and making discoveries. And it's going to really free you up to have a more vibrant technique because it's going to be more complex and more deep. And you'll really discover just the breadth and variety that's possible through the guitar. So I encourage you to experiment with that and keep an open mind and just have that mentality of everything I learn is just more tools going into that toolbox. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope this was helpful.